From January through December, the equine stars and the human stars of the sport of kings have raced for this award, the Eclipse, the symbol of the champion.
Devil Hill still giving his all. Colonial Affair giving his all. But it's Holy Bull winning like a champion.
The race for the 1994 honors is over. And tonight, live on ESPN, the champions are crowned. Thoroughbred Racing across America welcomes you to Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. Tonight, a city used to winners, losers, and long shots plays host for the first time to Thoroughbred Racing's awards night. Here, inside the ballroom of the Washington Hilton and Towers, the Thoroughbred Racing industry honors its champions at the 24th Annual Eclipse Awards Dinner. And for the first time, they're live here on ESPN. And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. Welcome to the Night of Champions in Thoroughbred Racing. In so many ways, this is both an end and a beginning. The end of the year just past, 1994, in Thoroughbred Racing, and the beginning of a new year in this sport. And for us, the beginning of the 50 Car Rental Racing Across America Series 1995 on ESPN, some of the nation's very best thoroughbred races from coast to coast. Tonight, 20 Bronze Eclipse Awards of the Thoroughbred Eclipse will be handed out to champions. Then there's one very special award. It is the Gold Eclipse for Horse of the Year, the only one that has not been announced prior to the dinner tonight. Now, there's not a lot of suspense about Horse of the Year, but we will have the official announcement for you this evening. And as befitting of a superstar evening, we've got a great star as the master of ceremonies here at the Hilton in the ballroom for the TRA's Eclipse dinner. An old friend of racing, an owner himself, the actor John Forsythe. And he really has done a tremendous job for Thoroughbred Racing. And with me, a colleague I've enjoyed working with through the years here on ESPN, a multiple Eclipse Award winner in his own right. Let's have some opening comments now from our friend, Dave Johnson.
You know, in American politics, Washington, D.C. is the ultimate winner's circle. And politicians are no strangers at racetracks around here. As a matter of fact, President George Washington was a regular at Marlboro Racetrack, just a few miles east of the White House on Pennsylvania Avenue over in Maryland. But tonight, for Thoroughbred Racing, this is the ultimate winner's circle. And the applause is not from the fans in the stands, but rather from the folks in the business. And that is what makes these Eclipse Awards so valuable and so coveted for the folks in the industry. You know, if you were going to win one race, Chris, it would be the Kentucky Derby. If you were going to win one award, it would be the Eclipse.
No doubt about it, Dave. You lead all the champions tonight, some recorded earlier on our coverage of the awards dinner, and some live with their acceptance comment. The night of excitement, you're going to see some great highlights of Thoroughbred Racing throughout 1994 as well. So let's get underway, if you will. Ladies first, let's start with the 3-year-old champion filly of 1994. Her name, Heavenly Prize, owned by Ogden Phipps, one of the great families in American racing this century. And there is the 4th generation, the grandchildren of Ogden Phipps. Diana, Samantha, Ogden II. Lillian got up to the microphone to make the acceptance in behalf of her grandfather. Heavenly Prize came on late in this season. One of her great efforts, the Alabama Stakes at Saratoga against the West Coast invader, Lakeway. Tom Durkin calls the Alabama.
Heavenly Prize with a stiff challenge for the lead, and Heavenly Prize is taken over. Heavenly Prize is in front at the back, at the top of the stretch, and Lakeway is trying to battle back valiantly, but it is Heavenly Prize who passes the 8th pole with the lead by a length and a half. Lakeway is being left behind in second here at the Graveyard of Champions. Heavenly Prize is going on to win it, and she'll win here by 5.
Heavenly Prize, trained by Shug McGahee, ridden during the year by Pat Day and Mike Smith, won almost $612,000, including 3 Grade 1s towards the end of the season by some 20 lengths. She was just beaten as the favorite in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. Heavenly Prize, our first Eclipse Equine champion. Well, now let's move to the human side of the sport. And we'll start with a young star in this sport. He is the Apprentice Award-winning jockey for 1994, Dale Beckner. A young man who did his riding in New York at Aqueduct Race Course, won some 90 races, and after ending his season about November 25th with a broken collarbone. He accepted the award as the apprentice jockey for 1994. Our congratulations to him. And Dave Johnson has a chance to talk with this upcoming star.
Oh, he's with us live right now, Chris. Hey, how far was it from the state of Washington and those $100 purses that you were riding for to the winner's circle at Aqueduct, Dale?
It was a long ways. It took a lot of good guidance, a lot of people that helped me and made me come down this road. A lot of good horses brought me here, and I have to thank everybody for their support. Some
good guys have won this award before. You're following in some big jockey footprints.
Yeah, I have. It's been a dream of mine when I got into the game, and I'm glad I accomplished it.
What's a dream of yours right now?
My dream now is to be a competitive New York rider and be up there with the top journeymen there are right now.
But enjoy the applause. Here is the Eclipse Award winner for 1994 as the top apprentice jockey. Best of luck as you move on to be a veteran.
Thank you, sir.
Dale Becker. Back to you, Chris.
Thank you. Congratulations, Dale. We're underway with the Night of Champions here in Thoroughbred Racing. Glad you're with us on ESPN. Remember, you're going to see some of the great moments in Thoroughbred Racing in 1994. We know you're going to enjoy the evening, so straighten that black tie and get ready to enjoy the Eclipse Award of 1994 from Washington, D.C. Of our 1995 series here on ESPN. The 24th Annual Eclipse Awards from Washington, D.C. is brought to you by Thrifty Car Rental, historically known for low rates. By Hollywood Park, where great times are a sure bet. And by Beechwood Age Budweiser, it's always been true. This Pud's for you. A great shot of the Lincoln Memorial here in Washington, D.C. lit up at night. I love that memorial, the 24th Annual Eclipse Award Center, and welcome back inside the Washington Hilton Towers here in Washington, D.C. Well, we've crowned a couple of our champions. Heavenly Prize, the 3-year-old filly champion, Dale Buckner, recognizing him as the apprentice winner. Well, now it's time to meet the male turf champion, and there was no contest in this division. It was Paradise Creek. Oh, how many thrills he gave us throughout the year in Thoroughbred Racing. Japanese-owned, American-trained by Billy Mott, ridden so well by Mike Smith throughout the year. Had so many great victories, in fact, not only in the United States, but then he ended the year by going across the world to Japan and was just beaten in a photo in the Japan Cup. But here in the States, he made his mark in one of our showcase turf events. From Arlington International, here's Paradise Creek in the Arlington Million.
They turn for home, and it's Vanmore who's led every step of the way, in front by a length. Paradise Creek ranging up on the outside. Mujaram in the blue and white colors is third at this point. Petit Loop is fourth, and down the stretch they come, and Paradise Creek on the outside flies by with Pate aboard. He's going to get his million.
Paradise Creek, he was in the money in all 11 of his starts this year. He was the leading money earner in all of North America at more than $2.9 million. Paradise Creek, an incredible performance. Billy Mott, the trainer, accepts the Eclipse. Let's listen in live.
Mr. Nishiyama, we'd like to take time to thank all the people that voted for Paradise Creek and felt that he showed the qualities that were good enough to become a champion. In our eyes, he truly was, and I want to thank all my staff for helping throughout the last 4 years. It's been quite a pleasure to have Paradise Creek in the barn. It's been very exhilarating on many occasions to see him run, and makes you get out of bed in the morning and have something to look forward to. And also, I'd like to give a special thanks to Bert and Diana Firestone for breeding and raising and starting out Paradise Creek's career. And yet again, they've bred another champion. And thank you, and I wish everybody a good 1995. Hope to see everybody here next year. Thank you.
Billy Mott, the trainer of Paradise Creek, earnings of more than $2.4 million, won more money than any thoroughbred in North America in 1994. Well, there was another young thoroughbred that had quite a year in 1994. In fact, she had a perfect year. The 2-year-old filly Flanders, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies champion. She was incredible. A perfect 5 for 5 under Pat Day and the great handling of D. Wayne Lucas. Flanders owned and bred by W.T. Young at Overbrook Farm. And again, her crowning moment certainly had to be on Breeders' Cup Day when she proved that she was a champion. She was matched against one of her stablemates, Serena's Song. It was a battle of white bridles, as they called it there, as they came down the stretch in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, with Tom Durkin making the call. Watch Flanders.
Down to the final furlong, Serena's Song, and Flanders won to the whole way. Don't count Flanders out yet. Pat Day goes to her. Flanders on the inside. On the outside, Serena's Song giving their all as they come down to the line. A spellbinding stretch run. Flanders, Serena's Song. Flanders looks like she got her nostril on the wire first.
She won her 5 races by a combined 36.5 lengths. And in that Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies race, though, when the race was over, they discovered she had broken her right front leg. I don't know if she'll return, but what great memories she gave us in 1994. And Dave Johnson right now is with her connections, owner, breeder W.T. Young, and trainer D. Wayne Lucas.
And with me now, Eclipse Award winners, trainer of the year, Wayne Lucas, breeder of the year, Bill Young. Bill, let me start with you. And of course, we're talking to the connections of Flanders and Timber Country. Which is more satisfying, for you to get the award as the breeder of the year, or to go out and watch those babies on the track win or lose?
That's an impossible question, David. They both send you to heaven. I don't think it's just a toss-up. I think being breeder of the year is an undreamed of honor, and I think it's probably singular. And being a native of Lexington and lived in Kentucky all my life, I know what it means to the industry and the participants, and I'm extremely honored and just undreamed of.
Wayne, you've got him trained pretty well.
He doesn't need much training. He's the greatest. I'll tell you, you know, none of us get here by ourselves, and for us to be here tonight and have the opportunity to get the Eclipse in a couple of areas and to recognize Bill as breeder of the year is a highlight of the season for me. It means much more to see Bill sharing these awards than anything that I could possibly do.
Wayne, bring us up to date on these two 2-year-olds, now 3-year-olds, Flanders and Timber Country.
Well, Flanders is progressing very, very well, and Bill and I have discussed it with Dr. Copeland at length, and I think we'll make a decision shortly, and that'll be up to Bill, I'm sure, with the advice of Dr. Copeland. Again, we're dealing with a little bit of a tricky situation here with Flanders in a retirement because she was a undefeated champion, and I know that to bring her back and not have her be 100% as good as she was, and you never know really unless you would try it. So I think it's up in the air, but I think a decision will be made by Mr. Young and the Overbrook team, and I think that will be the right one.
And Timber Country, early favorite for the Kentucky Derby.
That's one thing about it, Dave. The 2s turn to 3 in the spring, and that's what we're looking forward to. I'm so excited about this horse. He's what makes me get up and go to the barn every morning. I'm extremely excited, and I think he's got the dimension to get it done. I mean, we've gone a lot of years. Some years we should have gone, some years we shouldn't have. One year we were lucky enough to win it, but I like this horse's chances, everything about him. You know, his size, his pedigree, his race record as a 2. There's a lot of things to like about this one.
And we haven't even mentioned the horse who didn't get an Eclipse Award but gave us a lot of thrills, winner of 2/3 of the Triple Crown, Tabasco Cat. He gets the Joe Paterno Award. Sort of, you have a sensational season, but no slot for him. That was sort of taken by Holy Bull. Had to give you a lot of pleasure, though.
Oh, my. It was a great year. Well, I enjoyed it so much with David Reynolds. You know, he's an old friend, and I've you know, said that before, but it does make the cheese more binding as far as I'm concerned. But it's just a super year.
It certainly has.
You were talking about Flanders. We've hoped against hope with her. And like Wayne has said, if she doesn't come back, you know, 100%, we feel like it's a disservice to a champion to bring her back. I'd say the odds are 99-1 that she won't come back. And we feel so fortunate. She had a bad break. We could have easily had another Ruffian, or who was the other horse that... Oh, you know.
Land of Lucy?
Yeah, no, not Land of Lucy. The one that broke down.
Go for One.
Go for One. Sure. Not going to be emblazoned in my head. but we feel that Copeland and his associates have brought her back to full health. We just don't know whether she can run or not, but I'd say the decision is practically made that she will not race again. I mean,
But Timber Country will.
Oh, yeah. We
Bill. And the other member of the team, Jeff's watching.
Yes, he is, and we're thrilled with that. That's the big thing for us this year. You know, to have him come back, and he's back at the barn, working every day now, and the healing process continues in great shape. And that's the exciting thing, Dave, as you know.
Very exciting. Congratulations to both of you, Chris.
What a collection of champions. D. Wayne Lucas, Trainer of the Year, W.T. Young, Breeder of the Year. And talking about their champion, Flanders, we'll also be seeing later Timber Country. And, of course, we heard about Tabasco Cat and all our best to his son, Jeff Lucas.
Timber Country takes off like a shot in the final furlong, and he will go on to be a champion.
And it's the wicked North and Kent DeSomo in full fight for the wire. One spell by three. It's Warren Spell winning.
The Stars and Stripes, some of the flags of the Thoroughbred Racing Association tracks during the ballroom here of the Hilton Hotel and Towers in Washington, D.C. Welcome back to our 24th Annual Eclipse Awards coverage live here on ESPN tonight, the Thoroughbred Racing Association's biggest event. And the crowd just exploded a few moments ago as the man of the hour came to the stage. No one had a better year in thoroughbred racing in 1994 than did Jimmy Kroll. A trainer for more than half a century, Jimmy Kroll this year was elected into Racing's Hall of Fame. He was named by the United Thoroughbred Trainers of America as their Trainer of the Year by his peers. And now he accepts the Eclipse Award for three-year-old colt for his great champion, Holy Bull. Winner of 8 of 10 races, one of his best, the Midsummer Derby, the Travers at Saratoga.
But there is cause for concern. Concern comes on. Second on the outside. Tabasco Cat is well behind in third. They're coming down to the final furlong. Mike Smith asking Holy Bull for everything he has. Concern is coming hard under Jerry Bailey. It's still Holy Bull desperately trying to hold. Concern of final thrust, but it is Holy Bull as game as a racehorse can be coming down to the wire. Holy Bull wins. What a hero!
Holy Bull, a hero indeed. In fact, behind him, of course, was Concerto that went on to win the Breeders' Cup Classic, as well as horses that won the legs of the Triple Crown this year, the Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont winner. Holy Bull, some kind of champion, no surprise, unanimous as the three-year-old. And again, he is odds-on, certainly, for the Horse of the Year announcement coming up live later tonight. Jimmy Kroll also, earlier this afternoon, received the award as the Big Sport of Turfdom from the Turf Publishers of America for all the work he's done in promoting thoroughbred racing. Certainly, Holy Bull is the superstar of this sport. You look back at 1994, so many great stories to go over for you and look back on. We put them together and like to call them mileposts. Here's the first part of our look back at the headline stories of 1994 in racing. There were many significant mileposts in the thoroughbred industry during 1994. But one that perhaps shows the resilience of this sport and its people best was the reopening of the historic New Orleans Fairgrounds on January 5th. Just 19 days after the fire that destroyed the clubhouse and grandstand of America's third oldest center of thoroughbred racing. The sport got its first commissioner as Brian McGrath moved from his position as CEO of an international marketing company that listed as its clients the Olympics and World Cup soccer to become the commissioner of the Thoroughbred Racing Association. Individual mileposts in the sport included Hall of Fame jockey Pat Day. He won his 6,000th race of his career, becoming the 10th in history to reach that mark. On June 26th, Chris McCarron made it 11 when he went to the winner's circle for the 6,000th time after winning the Milady Handicap at Hollywood Park. In late May, Julie Crone returned to riding for the first time since her near-fatal spill at Saratoga in August of 1993. Class 1 racing in Texas finally arrived with the opening on April 29th of Sam Houston Race Park in Houston, Texas. 15,000 fans attended the opening, but within a month, the new track had to cut races and purses. It would have a tough first year. Meanwhile, tracks like Del Mar's Resort Track's summer meeting in Southern California, along with venerable Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky, and America's premier night track, the Meadowlands in New Jersey, posted record handle and/or attendance figures in 1994. The National Best 7 Bet debuted on Memorial Day and attracted a total handle of over $371,000. From something new in the industry to one of its oldest institutions, the daily racing form, America's Turf Authority, celebrated its 100th anniversary. And in one of the sport's annual rites, the National Museum of Racing and Hall of Fame in Saratoga Springs, New York, enshrined jockey Steve Coffin and trainer Jimmy Kroll, along with thoroughbred stars Tawee, Arts and Letters, 830, and the steeplechase champion, Flatterer. 1994, year of many mileposts in thoroughbred racing, and we have more to come. And we will have more to come a bit later, but right now let's get back to our Eclipse champions of 1994 with Dave Johnson.
Well, you know, the backbone of racing here in the United States is the sprint. Probably 80% of the thoroughbred races are those dashes to the wire. Hope you're good at picking a 6-furlong winner. Well, this 6-furlong winner, the 7-furlong winner in the Breeders' Cup Sprint got the Eclipse Award. It was Cherokee Run. And J. Mac Brown accepted the Eclipse Award. J. Mac Robinson accepted on behalf of his daughter, Jill. This horse is trained by Frank Alexander, solidified that Eclipse with a big victory in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Was 3 times to the winner's circle, finished second 3 times, finished third 3 times, finished second behind Holy Bull in the Met Mile. So a big win in the Breeders' Cup solidified it for Cherokee Run, who got the Eclipse as a sprinter. Now, in the older male category, it was very tight because there were a lot of votes for Devil His Due, and there were some votes for Colonial Affair, but the winner of the Oak Lawn Handicap was the horse who got the Eclipse Award, the Wicked North, even though he only raced for half the year because of a chipped ankle. Let's take a look right here. And the Wicked North
races up to the outside in fourth, and here they come into the stretch of the Oak Lawn Handicap, and it's Brother Brown still alone on the front end. The Wicked North is second to the rail, trying to come up as far out wildly to the outside. Devil Is Due, and now it is the Wicked North who challenges and takes command. Brother Brown second on the extreme outside. The Lake Charles coming from the left. But today the Wicked North meets the sunny side, and he does it by winning by 2 lengths.
And Chris, just moments ago, co-owners Philip and Sophie Hirsch accepted the Eclipse Award from the chairman of Hollywood Park, D. Hubbard. Chris?
The Hirsches, our congratulations to them, to their trainer, David Bernstein. An exceptional job with the Wicked North. Might have been a surprise to many. The split vote in the East gave it to the Wicked North in the West, who hadn't raced since July. We look for him to be back on the track early this year, and we'll be back with more awards in just a moment. There it is, the Gold Eclipse Award, symbolic of Horse of the Year in thoroughbred racing for 1994. That announcement still to come in our live coverage of the 24th Annual Eclipse Awards. You know, one of the more emotional Eclipse Awards presented tonight was to the steeplechase champion, Warm Spell, owned and trained by Dr. John Griggs. An outstanding year for Warm Spell. He was a very deserving champion, winning, in fact, 3 of his 7 starts, including the Breeders' Cup Grand National at Far Hills, New Jersey. But it was in the Colonial Cup that Warm Spell took a fall, broke his shoulder, and had to be humanely put to sleep. It was very emotional for Dr. John Griggs tonight, as he said, bittersweet, accepting the Eclipse Award. Well, finally, for a champion older filly or mare, there really had to be only one choice, and that was Georgia Hoffman's Sky Beauty. The 5-year-old filly was the queen of racing in New York. She was a perfect 5 for 5 in New York, one of her great performances when she carried 130 pounds here in the Grade 1 Ruffian.
This was one of the most astounding performances in years because it was Georgia Hoffman's Sky Beauty carrying 130 pounds to victory in the Ruffian. What a great racehorse you've got, Georgia Hoffman.
Oh, yes, she is great.
And she's trained by a pretty good trainer, too.
She's trained by Alan Jurgens, and he's really, I would think, helped to make her the great horse she is today.
Now, Georgia, just between the two of us, and you could whisper this to me, just between the two of us, what kind of a trainer is he? Is he good?
Well, he's the best in all the world, I think.
He really took a good...
And not only is he the best, but he loves horses, and he's gentle and kind to them, and helps to make them.
Georgia, what did you think when they assigned 130 pounds to Sky Beauty in the rough here?
I thought it was pretty rough for her, and we all did, but she handled it.
5 for 5 in New York this year.
At 92 degrees, too, in the summertime. She really ran well.
And she finally got the Eclipse Award that she so deserved.
I'm so proud.
Now, are we going to see her again on the racetrack?
Yes, you are.
Oh, that's great.
This year.
Wonderful.
She's running again.
Look forward to 1995 and maybe another Eclipse for you.
Well, this is, my second Eclipse. Did you know that?
I remember you and Phil. Okay, here we go. We'll go back to you, Chris.
Thank you. Congratulations, Ms. Hoffman, and congratulations to Giant Killer Alan Jurgens, Sky Beauty, a champion. And the good news is she'll be back to thrill us again here in 1995. Well, a gentleman who's thrilled us so many times, those famed green and orange silks that his horses carry across races in America, the owner, John Franks. He set a new standard in this sport tonight as he received the Eclipse Award as the outstanding owner for the 4th time. There's Mr. Franks on stage. No other owner has ever received the Eclipse 4 times. He did it in 1983, 1984, 1993, and repeated again in 1994, as his horses really had incredible performance throughout the year. Well, on stage right now, Special Eclipse Award, and what a moment this is, as two of the great jockeys ever to grace this sport being honored, Eddie Arcaro and Johnny Longden. Eddie Arcaro could not be here, still at his home in Florida, but the great Johnny Longden is on stage right now.
I'd like to thank the people responsible for me receiving this reward. Probably the last one I'll ever get. And it's a great reward to win. And racing has been very good to all the people in racing. And I want to congratulate the owner and trainer and jockey of Holy Bull. It's going to be a big boost for California for them to come out there at the time that we need a boost in racing. And I'm happy. I'd like to run back on a little time of my life. I had the privilege of riding. Of course, we all think we have the best horse. But I rode a horse called Count Fleet.
Johnny Longden has thrilled us for so many years in thoroughbred racing, first as a rider, then as a trainer, the only man to both ride and train a Kentucky Derby winner. He did it with his Triple Crown winner, Count Fleet, way back in the 40s, and he won with Majestic Prince as the trainer in 1969. Johnny Longden, an owner still in thoroughbred racing, as he approaches another milestone birthday. As we go to the break, we want to recognize some of our peers in this industry. The Eclipse Awards for Outstanding Media Achievement, including ABC Sports, their coverage of the Kentucky Derby, their 7th Eclipse Award. John Asher, he is Mr. Eclipse in radio, his 5th Eclipse Award this year. Others to be recognized, Jay Hubney with his 2nd Eclipse for magazine writing, and this is unbelievable. Tony Leonard, the outstanding photography, his 1st Eclipse after 32 years in this business. We will continue with more of our live coverage on the stage here at the Hilton Hotel and Towers in Washington, D.C. The Eclipse Awards continue. What a great evening to see some of the great stars of the past of thoroughbred racing here. Johnny Longden receiving a Special Eclipse Award, along with one of his great peers, one of our favorites, Eddie Arcaro. Well, it's been quite a night for W.T. Young, the master of Overbrook Farm. Dave Johnson talked to him earlier when he visited about Flanders, his undefeated 2-year-old filly champion. You already know he's been named the Breeder of the Year as well, accepting on stage. In fact, right now, and now also for Timber Country, their 2-year-old co-champion. This is one that W.T. Young owns and bred. He owns as well with Lee Webb representing Gainesway Farm and Bob and Beverly Lewis from Newport Beach in California. Timber Country showed he was a champion. He proved it on Breeders' Cup Day in the Juvenile.
And Tejano Run is coming with a powerful rally down the center of the track here at Churchill Downs. And the English colt Eltish has the lead, but he's relinquished it now to the American Timber Country. Timber Country takes off like a shot in the final furlong, and he will go on to be a champion. Timber Country wins under Pat Day by 3.
Timber Country, now the favorite for this year's Kentucky Derby as the juvenile champion. No one has won, by the way, the Kentucky Derby after being a juvenile champion since 1979, so it hasn't been the best of luck for anyone. There's W.T. Young right now. Now he's accepting yet another award. This as Breeder of the Year. He bred or co-bred 14 stakes winners in 1994 that earned over $5 million in total purses. That list, of course, topped by his double classic winner, Tabasco Cat, from his top stallion on his Overbrook Farm, Storm Cat. He co-owned and bred with his longtime friend David Reynolds. You also, and talk about, well, of course, Flanders, and we just saw Timber Country, his 2-year-old champion, but now, as you mentioned, is the favorite for the 1995 Kentucky Derby. Now time to get back to more of our stories this past year in Thoroughbred Racing, including some of the friends we've lost this past year. Here's another milepost.
So the mileposts in Thoroughbred Racing in 1994 included retirements and obituaries. Announcing their retirements from the sport were legendary Irish trainer Vincent O'Brien, who had saddled 44 European Classic winners. And veteran jockey Larry Snyder called it quits, hanging up his boots after 6,300 career wins. Racing lost 2 of its greatest fans in 1994, the deaths of Virginia Clinton Kelly, the president's mother, and the loss of the legendary entertainer Cab Calloway. The sport will also miss industry leaders like Hermitage Farms' Warner L. Jones, the former chairman at Churchill Downs. Business entrepreneur Edward J. DeBartholo, who owned major racetracks in Ohio, Louisiana, and Oklahoma. And racing executive Chick Lang Jr. of Oaklawn and the new San Antonio racetrack, Retama Park, left us much too soon. Richard Duchossois stunned the industry when he announced that he was closing his showplace track Arlington International outside Chicago after he did not receive legislative help on tax relief and casino gambling. 5 days later, though, Illinois track owners worked out a plan to give Arlington 55 racing days in 1995 to keep the track open. The Charlestown races closed after 60 years when video poker legislation for the track failed in West Virginia. But 1994 ended with a sign of unity in the industry as the National Jockey Guild and the Thoroughbred Racing Associations came to a last-minute agreement over insurance benefits, preventing a crippling jockey strike in 1995. 1994, like Thoroughbred Racing itself, winners, losers, and long shots, but always more races ahead. From our mileposts again, we welcome you back live at the 24th Annual Eclipse Awards. There's Frank Alexander, who earlier, of course, was recognized for the great job that Frank did in training our sprint champion Cherokee Run in 1994, winning the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Let's go up live to the stage now, where we're making the presentation, and the acceptance is being done by Philip Scott, president of Gainesboro Farm, on behalf of our female turf champion, Hatuf.
In his appreciation, those who have accorded Hatuf the honor that she receives tonight. He also requested that we acknowledge the wonderful trainer, Cricket Head, who has traveled to be with us tonight, and Walter Swinburne, her rider. Fortunately, Hatuf returns to Gainesboro Farm in Kentucky, where she was born, and now she will be bred to Mr. Prospector this year, and it's wonderful to have her back home. Thank you.
Philip Scott, the president of Gainesboro. Hatuf, the 7th of 13 foreign invaders to win our female turf champion. Her crowning moment was the Beverly D at Arlington International. Let's watch her in action.
With the Blaze Face in second, on the outside flawlessly is third. Hatuf is flying, and down the stretch they come. One Dreamer with early fires, flawlessly between horses. Hatuf gobbling up ground on the outside. Here comes
was a twofer. She went up against some of the best males in the world in the Breeders' Cup turf and just lost to Tekin in there. Now, as Mr. Scott mentioned, she heads back to Gainesboro to be bred this spring to the great Mr. Prospector.
And you got the promising rookies. Even when you got the talent, there's always building that team. That never stops. Our biggest fans are our clients, and we've got to perform for them every day. And that's why I can say to every client of this farm, at Three Chimneys, the focus is your success.
For our live coverage of the Eclipse Awards. Well, it's the beginning of a new season of thoroughbred racing, but before you know it, we'll all be asking who's going to the Breeders' Cup 1995, October the 28th at Belmont Park. Well, good news for racing fans. ESPN has announced a multi-year agreement. There's going to be a series of 9 broadcasts. They will feature 13 Grade 1 events as we race to the Breeders' Cup. The Racing to the Breeders' Cup series will include 3 $1 million events, and purses for the series total almost $7 million. Racing to the Breeders' Cup begins Sunday, July 30th, with the Haskell from Monmouth Park. Remember, that's the race that Holy Bull won last year. And we'll be racing to the Breeders' Cup right up until the weekend just before it. Racing to the Breeders' Cup on ESPN. Wayne Lucas on stage right now. Let's listen in. Wayne Lucas, who, of course, accepted as the Trainer of the Year for the 4th time. He tied Laz Barrera for the number of times. And he was the leading money earner in the country with purses, $9.2 million. Wayne Lucas, certainly an integral part of racing in 1994.
Well, we had history made in the Eclipse Award ceremonies tonight. We had a winner put up. Rosemary Holmeister waited 2 years. In 1992, she was the running for the Eclipse Award as apprentice rider, and well-deserved. She won at the time 173 races, over $1.7 million in purses. But she wasn't named the Eclipse Award winning apprentice. It was Jesus Bracco. But then he was disqualified from that award, if you would, because they found he had had a little bit more of a riding career at Venezuela than had been reported. Did not qualify as an apprentice. Congratulations, Rosemary Holmeister, the Eclipse Award apprentice winner of 1992, just awarded today. And now for Mike Smith. Mike Smith, for the 2nd year in a row, was named the outstanding jockey in thoroughbred racing, and well-deserved. He set new records, 67 stakes wins. He earned more than $15.9 million. Those are both all-time records for jockeys in thoroughbred racing. And there is Mike Smith. What a great champion he has been. What a great ambassador for this sport. And, of course, he rides some of the great horses in this sport, including Holy Bull, who is odds-on for our Horse of the Year award. And that award will be coming up. Thomas Jefferson can hardly wait.
Tyson Stud, Lexington, Kentucky. The multiple Grade 1 winner of over $1.8 million, won or placed in 21 of 29 starts. C. Cadet joins the Payson Stallion roster that includes Loch Wilmette, the multiple graded stakes winning full brother to Payson's European Horse of the Year, St. Jovite. Also at Payson, former Travers winner Cardin Aspra, and the millionaire Olympio, winner of 4 derbies on dirt and turf. Payson Stud taking the lead in the 90s.
Welcome back to our coverage of the 24th Annual Eclipse Awards from Washington, D.C. There is the gold trophy for the Horse of the Year. That is coming up very soon. As my friend Dave Johnson would say, we're going down the stretch right now. Our special Eclipse of Merit Award tonight, presented to Alfred Gwynn Vanderbilt. It is for someone for a lifetime service in thoroughbred racing. There he is on stage right now. You're seeing him live as he accepts this. For more than 60 years, Alfred Gwynn Vanderbilt has bred, owned, and raced thoroughbreds. He's also made his mark as a racing executive. He started in 1938 at nearby Pimlico in Baltimore as that track's president. He was one of the original trustees of the New York Racing Association when it was founded in 1955. 2 of his best horses, Discover and Native Dancer, still having major impacts on today's thoroughbred bloodlines. Native Dancer, undefeated, you might remember, in his great racing year, heading to the Kentucky Derby, odds on to win there, and was upset by Dark Star that year in the Kentucky Derby. Native Dancer, certainly one of the great thoroughbreds of our era, though. Alfred Gwynn Vanderbilt, well-deserving. More than 60 years he's contributed to this game of thoroughbred racing. Tonight he's recognized with the Eclipse Award of Special Merit. Well, in just a few moments, we are about ready to hand out that Gold Eclipse Award. We've been showing you all evening that symbolic of Horse of the Year. We have told you throughout the evening there really is no great suspense to this. It is more of a coronation. as John Forsythe now has the announcement.
Since I've been involved with racing, I've never failed to be captured by the sight of a field of thoroughbreds turning for home and battling to the wire. And when one of them is wearing your own colors, you find yourself swept up in the action in a way no other sport can duplicate. It might be a graded stakes with a handsome purse and shiny trophy, or merely a claiming race. No matter. To see your horse digging in and giving his best for you is an adrenaline rush not to be forgotten. Now imagine what it must be like to be the owner or trainer of the horse of the year, the nation's best. Well, all I can do is try to imagine because I've never had one, but now is the time to see who does. The moment is at hand to bestow the ultimate laurel, Horse of the Year. Just savor the phrase and all that it implies. A champion among champions who brings you to your feet with a burst of speed, a rousing bravery, or a rhythmic parade through the stretch. The horse our sport has designated as its nonpareil. To do the honors, I take pleasure in presenting the Commissioner of the Thoroughbred Racing Associations, Mr. Brian McGrath.
Thank you, John. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. During 1994, one horse captured the imagination, the enthusiasm of racing fans across this country. He brings to our sport the thrills and the excitement of a true champion. His rare brilliance has won the hearts of all thoroughbred racing enthusiasts. It can only be one horse, the 1994 Horse of the Year, Holy Bull. Come on up here, Jimmy. This is indeed a great honor. Holy Bull had a fantastic 1994, and I think all of us in this room, as well as fans across the United States and all over the world, are looking to the same kind of campaign in 95. Holy Bull has earned his place as America's champion. Jimmy Kroll, congratulations.
Thank you, Brian. This is truly a great honor. Never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that I would own and train a Horse of the Year. I want to extend my gratitude and give my thanks to all those who made this great occasion possible. And I want you all to know that this has been a team effort all the way. From my blacksmith, Nick Capone, to my good friend and veterinarian, Peter Hall, to the exercise rider, Bobby Perna, who has done a superb job, my shed foreman and old friend, Bowie Skurlock, and of course, the dedicated groom, Bob Coffey. And we have to remember the excellent job and professional job done by Mike Smith. And last but not least, my son and assistant trainer, Bill. He not only looks after Holy Bull, but he looks after me. I want to remember one who is no longer with us, my good friend for many, many years, and the original owner of Holy Bull, Rachel Carpenter. It is hard for me to put into words.
When Rachel Carpenter passed away 2 years ago, she left in her will all her horses to her longtime trainer, Jimmy Kroll. One of them was the Horse of the Year this year, Holy Bull.
Horse of the Year in 1992 leads the stallion roster at Payson Stud, Lexington, Kentucky. A roster that features defensive play, winner of 6 Grade 1 races, and earnings of almost $1.7 million. Defensive Play's first yearling sold at Keeneland for $57,000, more than 10 times his stud fee. Also at Payson, the multiple graded stakes winning Salem Drive, and the fastest miler in the history of Belmont Park, Williamstown, the son of Triple Crown winner Seattle Slew. Payson Stud taking the lead in the 90s.
It's official. Horse of the Year, Holy Bull. And with us right now as we close out the program, the owner-trainer, Jimmy Kroll, Mike Smith. What was the moment, Mike, this year, the top moment for you?
I guess I have to say my favorite moment was the Woodward.
The Woodward.
Certainly was.
Well, I hope that we get a chance to take a quick look at it. It was spectacular.
Not only was it spectacular, and he defeated older horses for the second time, but just the way the people responded to him. When he came back, I mean, the crowd was in such an uproar, I thought the grandstand was going to come down, just cheering for this horse and Jimmy and all the whole crew, and that just got to be my favorite race.
Mike, congratulations on your personal award as the Outstanding Jockey of the Year. Here's the man of the moment, Jimmy Kroll, the owner and the trainer. What about the Olympic? He's back, isn't he?
He is, Dave. He really ran well.
Yeah, and you're looking forward, I guess, to a fantastic year.
We certainly are. I mean, the horses done everything we asked them. We came back fine, and we're looking ahead.
Coast to coast.
Coast to coast.
Jimmy Kroll, the Frank Lloyd Wright of racing. What an architect of a career. Congratulations.
Thank you,
Back
Dave.
to you, Chris.
All right, Dave, what a great start to our Thrifty Car Rental Racing Across America Series in 1995. We're on our way to California next week. We'll be live next Sunday at Santa Anita for the Strobe Stakes. Some of the great 4-year-olds will be in action there. Join us live, 4:30 Eastern, 1 week from this Sunday here on ESPN. And again, we want to thank you for joining us on our coverage of the 24th Annual Eclipse Awards. Reminder that coming up right after our program here on ESPN, we'll have live coverage for you of the Australian Women's Open Championship from Melbourne. Well, so much like Thoroughbred Racing, we had something of everything. We had the past, the present, and the future. And we look forward to some racing stars in 1995. We'll show them to you right here on ESPN. So long, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our coverage of the 24th Annual Eclipse Awards. From Washington, D.C., brought to you by Thrifty Car Rental, historically known for low rates, by Keeneland, source of the classic horse, and by Beechwood Age Budweiser. It's always been true. This Bud's for you. Ground transportation provided by Thrifty Car Rental. For reservations at over 850 locations worldwide, call Thrifty at 1-800-4CARS. This has been an ESPN Sports presentation in association with Winter Communications. The Thoroughbred world comes to Washington, D.C. and takes over the town and crowns its champions here in a gala black tie event. Hope you enjoyed our coverage. Again, the big winner, Holy Bull, the 3-year-old champion, the horse of the year. And he's back at the races, folks. We'll see him in 1995. There he is, the champion, Holy Bull. Good night.